Look, we've all been sold a massive lie. You know the one, the myth that to get seriously rich, you've got to be some Silicon Valley genius sweating it out in a garage coding the next viral app. But what if the real money isn't in a shiny new piece of software at all? What if it's actually hiding in plain sight, literally right down your street? Well, today, we're stripping away the glamour. We are opening up the boring wealth blueprint to look at the gritty, unsexy businesses that just quietly print money while everyone else is out there chasing trends. Welcome to The Explain. So let me ask you something. When you picture the absolute secret to building serious wealth, what do you actually see? Is it a brilliant, once-in-a-generation idea? Well, here's the ultimate reality check for you. Almost nobody gets rich with a brilliant idea. They get rich with the boring idea that literally nobody else wanted to touch. Okay, let's dive into this. On one hand, you've got the genius idea. And sure, it's glamorous, but it comes with sky-high risk. You're out there fighting thousands of other incredibly ambitious people for the exact same slice of the pie. But on the other side, we have the boring idea. We're talking commercial window washing, portable toilets, gutter cleaning, total snooze fest, right? It's completely unglamorous, but it offers proven steady cash flow and ridiculously low competition. Why? Simply because to the average person, it looks like a dirty job, not a multi-million-dollar business.
Theme 1, the discomfort barrier, where gross meets gold.
So it turns out that physical discomfort doesn't just, scare off your friends at dinner parties. It actually acts as an invisible, highly profitable moat around your business. As entrepreneur Walker Deibel points out, the discomfort isn't the obstacle, it's the barrier to entry. Think about a crew hanging from a harness cleaning windows on a massive high-rise office building. It sounds dangerous, right? It sounds super blue-collar. It is the absolute last thing someone with a shiny new MBA wants to do. But those commercial contracts, they pay up to $1,000 a workday and they renew automatically every single January. The uglier and more physically uncomfortable a business is, the fewer people are willing to step up and compete against you. And hey, if you're afraid of heights, you don't even have to climb the building yourself. You just hire the crew, pay them really well, and keep that massive margin for yourself. Now, if you need hard proof that ugly prints money, just listen to this number, $34.86 billion. That's the projected global market value for portable restroom rentals by the year 2030. Think about that for a second. Every single construction site, every outdoor festival, every county fair, they all need them. And absolutely nobody wants to own them. You're not even selling anything in this business. You're literally just renting out a plastic box that everyone needs and nobody wants to buy. It is the absolute ultimate proof that stepping into the uncomfortable zones completely shields you from the competition. Theme 2, silent infrastructure assets, monetizing empty space. All right, so we're moving away from manual labor now and getting into unassuming physical assets. We're talking things like storage units or ATMs that just solve a space or convenience problem entirely on autopilot. Take the self-storage market, for example. It is a massive $45 billion industry in the US alone. And get this, the fastest growing customer segment isn't even families moving houses anymore. Actually, it's small e-commerce sellers using these units as makeshift, low-cost warehouses for all their inventory. Self-storage has quietly become the silent infrastructure backbone for the entire modern online economy. And this brilliantly illustrates the real difference between chasing excitement and building actual wealth. On one side, we have trendy new restaurants. They've got a notoriously high failure rate, huge overhead, and they're completely dependent on consumer fads. On the flip side, boring laundromats. Guys, 95% of laundromats are still successfully operating after 5 years. That is exactly why serious, seasoned investors will take the relentless reliability of washing machines over the risky glitz of a hot new restaurant concept any day of the week. The economy changes, but, people always need clean clothes. Now consider things like vending machines and ATM networks. What you're basically doing here is buying permission to stand 24 hours a day in a spot where literally nothing generated money before. You find an empty, totally worthless corner in a gym, maybe an office hallway, or even inside that laundromat we just talked about, and you just place a machine right there. You aren't really selling sodas or dispensing cash, you are monetizing empty space. It's a completely passive solution to a convenience problem, transforming $0 a month into steady automated rent. Moving on to theme 3, the ultimate multipliers, consistency over innovation. This brings us to the absolute deal breaker when you're evaluating any business idea. Let's call it the popsicle principle. Think about it like this. If you sell a popsicle, you earn a profit exactly once. Tomorrow, you wake up at 0 and you've got to go out and hustle to find another customer. But if you rent the popsicle cart to someone else every month, you earn every single month without ever having to sell another popsicle yourself.
That right there is the vast difference between an exhausting, never-ending treadmill of one-off transactions and building a true, recurring revenue machine. Let's look at 3 prime examples of this principle in action. We've got pest control contracts, small business bookkeeping, and commercial cleaning. In all 3 of these incredibly boring businesses, clients will happily pay you every single month, totally on autopilot. Why? Because you're removing an annoying headache from their plate. A restaurant absolutely cannot risk a failed health inspection, so they pay for pest control monthly. A small business owner usually deeply hates doing taxes, so they pay a bookkeeper monthly. You don't have to constantly persuade them to buy. They are literally paying you for peace of mind. Theme 4, Buy, Build, Don't Build, the ultimate wealth cheat code. So the crucial point is that the absolute smartest way to acquire a business is bypassing the grueling startup phase entirely. Like Walker Deibel says, buying an existing business with proven cash flow is a faster, less risky path to financial freedom than starting from zero. Look, we've all been conditioned by the media to believe that to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to be the original founder. You got to create the logo, build the website, hustle for your very first customer. But the smartest wealth builders, they just identify a boring business that already works with existing customers and existing cash flow, and they just buy it. If we look at the hard math here, you're going to see exactly why this recurring revenue model is so incredibly powerful. A business entirely dependent on one-time sales, that might sell for 1 to 2 times its annual revenue. But a boring business built on recurring monthly revenue consistently sells for 3 to 5 times its annual income. Buying money that is already flowing instead of betting your entire life savings that it might start flowing one day completely flips the risk equation in your favor.
And that brings us to the climax: 2 paths to wealth, the visionary versus the pragmatist.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it grounds all these theories into reality. Meet Daniel and Alex. So Daniel chased the visionary dream. He spent his 30s burning through his savings trying to build a viral app, competing against thousands of other brilliant, ambitious guys exactly like him. Today, at 41, he's broke, he's exhausted, and he's still searching for that genius idea. Then we have Alex. Alex was a pragmatist. He bought a boring 15-year-old laundromat in his city. He didn't invent anything, he just took over the existing cash flow, quietly added a couple of vending machines and ATMs to the location, and today, he's wealthy, his income is automated, and he actually gets to rest. Daniel failed because he chose a hyper-competitive battlefield. Alex won because he stepped onto a field almost nobody else wanted to play on. Which brings us to the ultimate question for this explainer. Will you chase excitement or will you build consistency? Because the math and the real-world survival rates point in one very clear direction. The path to real financial freedom isn't glamorous, it isn't sexy, it's boring. And that is exactly why it works. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.